Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI have teamed up to launch Lunchly, a better-for-you kind of Lunchables competitor. Should these mega influencers, do they have the luxury of completely overhauling an industry? Or is this kind of incremental approach to getting better actually a benefit to the world? Let's dive into it. So we've got this article from CNN talking about Lunchables competitor that they say is healthy. I think they say it's healthier. I don't think anyone in the world has the audacity to call this a health or a healthy product. Our end game has always been not only to provide high quality products, but also healthier alternatives, Logan Paul said in a press release. The school lunch market has been dominated by Lunchables since he was a kid, Logan that is, and it's time to provide a better option for those looking for convenient, healthier choices. So notably here, they're going for healthier, not necessarily healthy. And I think this incremental approach, something that businesses have to take, someone without a massive influential brand to the name. But I'd like to first, let's see if it actually is healthier. There's enough videos and stuff around the internet. I think that Dr. Mike actually did a wicked job of this. You can see him comparing the two here.
KSI, Mr. Beast, and Logan Paul have announced they were teaming up and launching a new food product called Lunchly to compete with the uber popular kids brand Lunchables. And in looking in the comparison, I'd be most interested in calories, which they have, protein, which they have, sugar, which they have, saturated fat, which is missing, and sodium, which is not only missing, but replaced by electrolytes.
But he kind of goes through to talk about the difference between Lunchables and Lunchly. And for the most part, Lunchly does stack up to be a little bit better. But Dr. Mike talks about this specific caloric intake versus sodium to compare the two, and brings up an interesting point.
You see, USDA caloric guidelines say that a lunch meal for kids K through 8 should contain around 625 calories. Kids need energy to function, and calories give them that energy. Lunchly turkey contains only 230 calories, which would mean a kid would need to eat about 2.7 portions to consume enough calories. And if they did that, they'd get nearly 1,300 milligrams of sodium, which is also significantly over the USDA standards.
So this is, I thought when I watched this is what sparked my interest on, should this incremental change, how is this incremental change going to be better? Or when we're stuck in fiat land, has products, food, services, have they regressed so far, and we're so far down the path of this fiat ecosystem that incremental change actually isn't enough because our balance is so out of whack that things need a complete overhaul. You should make a lunch product with grass-fed jerky, getting protein and calories in check. I think I actually only talked about protein, but since Dr. Mike's talking about calories, I will also talk about calories. Grass-fed protein would be an amazing alternative to some kind of garbage cheese crackers and like processed meat in there. Why don't these big brands completely, in my opinion, probably have the luxury of overhauling an entire industry, why don't they do it? Now, in my opinion, it feels like cost. Obviously, a grass-fed jerky product is going to be way more expensive than plastic turkey and crackers. It strikes me that these influencers, who, like Uncle Ben tells us, have a great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
It seems like they probably could create a luxury product, start with a luxury product, then bring costs down, and then go. But there's a high time preference here that they have to sell in order to make some cash. So we see them talking about this incremental change here in their TikTok video.
Lunchly versus Lunchables.
With Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar.
Whoa.
Feastables Crunch
Yeah!
Bar. Our pizza uses real cheese. Theirs, as it says on their box, is mozzarella pasteurized prepared cheese product. They can't even call it real cheese.
Ooh.
We're also 30 less calories, 3 less grams of fat, and 8 less grams of sugar.
These YouTubers are calling the product they're touting it as a better alternative because it has less calories. When I think the USDA is telling us we need more calories. I think this is actually an indication of how centralization and how the media has demonized calories because we all just naturally overconsume with garbage food.
Turkey Stack 'em, 310 calories.
230 calories.
21 grams of sugar.
Only 7 grams of sugar.
So again, they actually both those, they need double or triple the amount of calories. So maybe like, incremental change going the wrong way. That just seems way better to me. I think that this is an incremental change towards a better, lower processed sugar. You want that number to probably be 0 on the processed sugar side. Of course, maybe if it had fruits, it would have 21 grams of sugar. But, and this is where marketing gets into play, If your goal is to be able to market this has less sugar, you can't put a strawberry in there because strawberries have mountains of sugar in them.
And it's available for around $4.
So that affordable piece, something that Mr. Beast has been big on, and that's honestly what's going to make a big overhaul impossible. If you look at traditional titans of industry that have truly overhauled entire organizations, entire business sectors, you see them start with a high-cost luxury product and then scale things down. But if your goal is to make something affordable for your mass market because your target audience is children, you kind of don't have that luxury. In this main clip, we had the comment section. Their entire argument is like, Lunchables. We're not as bad as Lunchables. So that means we should sell our shite to kids. We had someone saying, the next Mr. Beast video, I trapped 1,000 kids in my basement. He's kind of getting a bit redundant with his contests, isn't he? Then we had someone saying the difference between this and Nestle is that they're influencers. Kids will get influenced and get addicted to this poison instead of developing good habits. So this comment I think is the most important one and actually is one that I would disagree with. The kids are already influenced by this poison, not because of the influencers, but because of the influencers for their parents, because their parents who are now both forced to work jobs, who now have less time to be at home cooking, who are now have less money thanks to inflation and high taxes, are forced to find low quality, low cost products for lunch. Save the day Nestle. Funny how that works. And they have this, garbage product to sell to their children. The parents buy that. They don't know any better. The man on the TV said it was fine. And so off we go. I see this market as being someone who's already buying Lunchables, now buying Lunchly. Just like someone who is already buying Gatorade is going to be buying Prime. And just like someone who's already eating garbage is going to be continuing to buy this garbage. So in that sense, probably an incrementalism approach is better. I think also Dr. Mike talked on this.
Despite these legitimate upgrades, social media posts are slamming Lunchly for not being perfect. But Lunchly does not need to be perfect to be valuable for kids. It just needs to be significantly healthier in order to reduce risk.
So Dr. Mike here obviously taking the approach that incrementalism is probably better than, or at least a step in the right direction towards a complete overhaul.
As a doctor, I use risk reduction all the time, essentially taking something harmful and replacing it with something less harmful, but still imperfect. As an example, I would never recommend starting vaping, but getting someone to replace smoking cigarettes with vaping is generally a good step down in terms of health risk. Knowing all that, is it fair to say that Lunchly is healthier? I guess one can say yes, but honestly, probably more so as a marketing tactic.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, is where the real issue lies. Just if we as a society accept and adopt this incrementalism fashion, this incrementalism change, then it becomes more of a marketing tool and we can just take baby steps. We're not going to force ourselves into a giant push for a complete overhaul. Should a lunch product only cost $4? No. Should a lunch product have half the calories that you need to eat? No. Should a lunch product that has half the calories have double the sodium that you can or should eat? No. All of these sacrifices or trade-offs are things that we're going to have to get accustomed to in this kind of incremental success, in this incremental change environment that we currently live in. Obviously, if they price this at $25, the majority of parents can't afford that. Obviously, if they make this significantly healthier, it's going to have to be more in that $25 price market. And we can also see the negative effects of when you make something that's got an incremental change, you're one wrong move away from regressing backwards. We had Revantis here on Twitter calling Feastables was meant to be a healthy chocolate bar with just 4 ingredients. Turns out it tasted like garbage, so he revamped the recipe, and now it has even more calories and ingredients than a Hershey's bar. We can see how incremental change up can also be incremental change down, and you don't really tell the difference. When your number one focus isn't mission-oriented, that incremental change doesn't really work. We even had Mr. Beast himself talking about this incrementalism mindset. Lunchables sends hundreds of millions of units to countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. Our turkey meal is 80 less calories. It goes into some examples. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier. Boom. This is what you should be selling. But someone is going to eat a pre-made meal like this, which millions of people do already with Lunchables, then I think giving them a higher quality at roughly the same price is a net good in my opinion, and that's why we launched Lunchly. I do think that for their target audience, there is a need for a low price, better for you alternative. But does that solve the problem? Because all things considered, we have to get back to a first principles approach. Does a kid eating Lunchables every single day for their whole life give them a higher chance of cancer? Yes. Does it give them a lower life expectancy? Yes. Does it develop good eating habits? No. So if those things are true, let's replace Lunchables with Lunchly. Does eating Lunchly every day for lunch give them a higher chance of cancer? Yes. Does it develop good eating habits? No. Does it decrease their life expectancy? Yes. I don't think this incremental change makes anything better. If this is a step in the right direction, then sure. If their next product comes out and it's a chicken and broccoli type of alternative, let's go with a grass-fed jerky product. If their follow-on product, once they've got some money in the bank, once they are successful, is a better for you, but maybe even a true, direction of overhaul in the industry, this is good. Their second move, in my opinion, is more important than this move. I mean, even look inside of the financial space. Obviously, you guys know, as the founder and CEO at Bitcoin Well, I do a lot of work trying to overhaul the financial industry. But even we have to make sacrifices on how that works. We have to really coach people on what it means to take Bitcoin into self-custody. Most people who are using this incremental change approach in custodial exchanges are basically applying fiat TradFi principles to their Bitcoin products. At Bitcoin Well, we take the reverse approach, and we take a Bitcoin first approach, meaning you have Bitcoin in self-custody at all times. But if you have a mission to produce low cost goods, you arguably don't have the same capability, because in a weird way, the consumer becomes the product. And in this incremental change, I think there's probably a barrier. There's probably a wall that exists that will be very difficult to push through without a true overhaul mindset. The children's lunches mindset, the children's lunches industry has to be overhauled. We cannot keep feeding this poison to our kids. Personally speaking, I would love to see these mega influencers, Logan Paul, KSI, Mr. Beast. They have the luxury, in my opinion. They are one of the few that have the luxury to actually educate their audiences about the difference in sugar, about the difference in a grass-fed protein product, and the difference in a cane sugar chocolate bar. They have the ability to showcase what real nutrition should be. We need to get out of the mindset that eating needs to be convenient and taste good. Eating is fuel. Eating is something that our bodies need to stay alive for a long time and thrive in any environment. I guarantee you, Logan Paul, when he's training for his wrestling, he is absolutely not eating Lunchly. He's not intaking that much sodium, bloating up his body and taking that little protein. More importantly, that quality of protein. That much soy in a man's body is not good. Mr. Beast just went through an incredible weight loss, body change, body transformation journey. I promise you, he was not eating processed protein to make that happen. Obviously, they're not trying to showcase this as this like bodybuilding, pro athlete type of product. But I do think that if in children, these mega influencers took the time to actually overhaul an industry, the world would be a better place in 10 years. If we get a little bit less bad of the same, we're just going to have a little bit less bad of a world. But what do you think? Obviously, I want to hear, where else are we seeing incremental change as a benefit? Or do you agree with me? Do we need to see complete overhaul in order for the world to actually change? Or can we get there one foot in front of the other with this incremental change mindset? I'm sure there are industries where it's worked. I'm sure there are industries where it has worked. Can we get back to a place of a high quality world with an incremental change up? Or do we need an overhaul of all the systems? Let me know how you and your family handle this type of stuff. Let me know what you think, but most importantly, stay sovereign.